Welcome to F for Forensics. This is the podcast where we dive deep into the bits and bytes of the digital world.
And follow those trails criminals think they've managed to cover up.
Exactly. Welcome to our very first deep dive. We're really excited to get this rolling.
Yeah, me too. We want to explore this, fascinating world where these tiny digital breadcrumbs can tell some pretty incredible stories.
Absolutely. And whether you're already working in digital forensics, maybe you're a cybersecurity enthusiast, just keen to understand the nuts and bolts.
Or maybe you just find the hidden side of technology really compelling.
Right. You're definitely in the right place. Our aim is pretty simple, really.
Yeah, just pull back the curtain on some, sometimes complex topics.
Keep it engaging, maybe throw in a few surprises.
And today, we're kicking things off with a real cornerstone of digital investigations, the file system itself.
Right. And specifically, we're going to delve into the art and science of carving hidden evidence.
How we can sometimes pull back data, even when it looks like it's been completely wiped, gone forever.
It really does sound like being a digital archaeologist sometimes.
It kind of is, piecing together fragments of the past from data.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. When we talk about a file system, what exactly are we picturing? What is it?
Think of it like the operating system's librarian, or maybe a digital filing cabinet.
Okay.
It's the structure that organizes and manages all the files on, a storage device.
Hard drive, SSD, USB stick, whatever.
Exactly. And you've got different types out there. There's the older FAT32 you still find on some USBs.
Right.
NTFS, which is the Windows standard. XF8 is another one. APFS for Apple devices. EXT4 in the Linux world.
So lots of different librarians, each with their own system.
Precisely. And each one has its own way of, doing things.
Yeah.
Cataloging.
And it's not just about the files we can easily see in our folders, is it? It's deeper than that.
Oh, much deeper.
Yeah.
We're interested in the visible files, sure, but also the stuff that's supposedly deleted.
Okay.
And things like slack space, that leftover space at the end of a file's allocated block.
Right, the empty bits.
Yeah, and all that rich metadata, the data about the data. Timestamps are huge here.
When was it created? Last accessed, modified, that kind of thing?
Exactly. That's where the real detective work often lies. You're piecing together a story.
And the way these different file systems store data, that actually impacts how we recover things.
Massively. It has a huge impact on what we can recover and how we do it. Take NTFS, the Windows 1.
Okay.
It uses something called the master file table, the MFT.
MFT. Got it.
Now, the MFT is essentially this big database. It holds metadata about basically every file and directory on that volume.
Every single one.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And here's the crucial part. Even when a file gets deleted in Windows, its record in the MFT might still be there, or at least parts of it.
So the entry in librarian's index might remain even if the book is off the shelf.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. And that MFT record could still hold valuable info. Probably original file name, maybe size, those key timestamps.
Like last access time, created time. Things that tell you when stuff happened.
Exactly. And, sometimes people try to cover their tracks. They might use a tool, something like Timestamp, to change those timestamps.
To make it look like a file hasn't been touched recently or maybe was created earlier.
Right. But often, the act of manipulating those timestamps, it actually leaves its own little traces.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, you might find inconsistencies within the file system itself or in system logs that track activity. It's like trying to erase footprints in sand.
You might just leave different footprints showing you were erasing something.
Exactly. Our job is to spot those inconsistencies, those anomalies that give the game away. It all feeds into building that timeline, that narrative of user activity.
Okay, that makes sense. Which brings us nicely to this technique called carving, not Thanksgiving carving, I presume.
No, definitely no turkey involved. File carving is, it's the process of recovering files based purely on their content.
Not the metadata.
Right. We do it without relying on the file system's directory structure or its metadata records, like that MFT entry we just talked about.
So when would you use that? When the metadata is just gone?
Exactly. Or if it's corrupted, maybe damaged, or just totally unreliable for whatever reason. It's kind of sometimes a last resort, but a powerful one.
It lets you pull files or bits of files straight from the raw data on the disk.
That's it. If the filing cabinet index is wrecked, you start sifting through the raw pile of papers, looking for things you recognize.
How does that work? How do you recognize a paper in a sea of raw data?
We look for known patterns. specific sequences of bytes called file signatures, or sometimes magic numbers.
Magic numbers. Okay.
Yeah, these are unique byte sequences usually found right at the start of a file that's the header, and sometimes at the very end, the footer.
Can you give an example?
Sure. A classic one is JPEG images. Almost every JPEG file starts with the hexadecimal bytes FFD8.
FFD8.
Okay. And they typically end with FFD9. So if you're scanning raw data and you hit FFD8, you think, maybe a JPEG starts here. Then you look for the FFD9.
It's like a digital flag saying, I'm a JPEG.
Precisely. And loads of file types have these unique signatures. PDFs often start with the PDF in ASCII, which is hex 25, 50, 44, 46.
Right.
And they usually end with %OF. Knowing these signatures lets us search for them. You can do it manually with a hex editor if you're really patient.
Or maybe slightly mad.
Or slightly mad, yeah. But thankfully, we have automated tools that scan the drive, find a header, carve out the data until they find the footer or until the next header starts.
So it's like playing a super, super nerdy game of Where's Waldo, but with hexadecimal codes across billions of bytes.
That's actually a pretty good analogy. Very nerdy, but often crucial. Where's Waldo? And yeah, tools make it feasible. PhotoRec is a popular one.
PhotoRec.
Yeah, it's great because it's designed to completely ignore the file system structure.
Yeah.
It just scans the underlying blocks. Really useful for damaged partitions where the file system is just gone.
What about other tools? You mentioned Scalpel earlier. Sounds precise.
It is. Scalpel is really powerful because it lets you define your own custom rules for carving.
Oh, okay. So if you find some weird proprietary file type.
Exactly. If standard tools don't know its signature, you can look it up or figure it out, create a rule, and tell Scalpel, look for this specific pattern. That customization can be a lifesaver.
That sounds incredibly useful.
It really is. And we should also mention Foremost. It's a classic command line tool, open source, been around a while.
Command lines, okay.
Yeah, maybe less graphical, but very efficient. It actually came out of the U.S. Air Force Office of Special Investigations.
Wow, really? So it's got some serious origin.
Definitely has pedigree. Lightweight, solid tool.
Now, carving sounds powerful, but it can't be perfect, right? What are the challenges? Does it always get the whole file back?
You're right. It's not foolproof. A big challenge is file fragmentation.
Fragmentation. You mean when a file isn't stored all in one piece on the disk?
Exactly. Imagine a file broken up, scattered across different physical locations on the drive. Not contiguous.
Okay.
Standard carving, just looking for a header and footer, might only grab the first fragment, it might miss the rest, or stop carving too soon.
So you end up with just a piece of the file, like finding only the first page of a document.
Precisely. Reassembling those fragmented files automatically is, well, it's a really hard problem. Sometimes impossible without more context.
What kind of context helps?
Well, if you can recover some metadata, like the original file name, or maybe you know the cryptographic hash of the file you're looking for.
Like a digital fingerprint.
Exactly. That can help you identify and potentially link together the correct fragments. It's like having a bit of the picture on the jigsaw pieces to guide you.
So even if carving doesn't give you the whole file, those fragments can still be incredibly valuable.
Absolutely crucial sometimes. Think about it, even finding just a few incriminating sentences from a deleted document.
Or a thumbnail image.
Or a partial chat log.
Yeah.
That fragment might be the key piece of evidence you need. I remember one case, we carved fragments of a SQLite database.
Like from a browser or an app.
Yeah, exactly. And we managed to pull out deleted search terms the suspect had entered, really revealing about their intent.
Wow. That is powerful. Can you share maybe another real-world example where carving was the difference maker?
Sure. There was a data exfiltration case, an insider threat scenario. The suspect had, copied sensitive company data.
And then tried to cover their tracks.
Oh, yeah. Deleted everything they could think of, ran some kind of secure wipe tool on the free space, really tried to sanitize the drive.
The digital equivalent of shredding and burning.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But we took an image of the drive and ran carving tools across the whole thing, including the unallocated space.
Yeah.
And we found gold. Fragments of chat logs from a messaging app discussing the plan. Partial screenshots of sensitive documents. Even pieces of a PDF containing the actual trade secrets they'd stolen.
So the wipe tool didn't get everything.
It couldn't overwrite data that was still technically there, in unallocated clusters waiting to be carved. The carving bypassed the wiped file system pointers.
Amazing. What about files being deliberately mislabeled? Does carving help there?
Oh, definitely. That's a classic trick. We had a case where someone had a bunch of incriminating documents inside a compressed archive, like a ZIP file, or rather a ZEEP file.
A ZEEP file, right.
And they'd renamed it, called it something totally innocuous like Vacation photos 2021.jpg.
Sneaky.
Very, but just looking at the file list wouldn't tell you. Performing carving, however,
Yeah.
the tools immediately flagged it.
Because it saw the ZIP file signature, not a JPEG signature.
Exactly. It saw the PK header bytes,
Yep.
common to ZIP archives, not the FFD8 of a JPEG.
Yeah.
So we just extracted the contents of the ZIP, and there was all the evidence.
It really drives home that point. File extensions can be lies.
Extensions lie. Magic numbers usually don't. That should be on a T-shirt.
Definitely T-shirt worthy. Any other quick examples?
Yeah, one more. Ransomware case. After the ransomware did its thing, encrypting files, it often deletes originals or temporary files it created.
Right.
We were analyzing a system hit by ransomware. Through carving, we recovered fragments of raw screen capture files the malware had briefly created during its execution.
It's screen capture.
Yeah, just temporary data. But those fragments showed key parts of the victim's screen while the attack was unfolding, providing clues about the attacker's actions and tools, stuff we wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Incredible what you can find when you dig deep enough. So for listeners who are maybe thinking, wow, I want to try this or need to do this for work, any key tips for getting started with file carving?
Yeah, absolutely. Some practical advice. First, get familiar with those file signatures, headers and footers.
The magic number.
The magic numbers. Make yourself a cheat sheet for common file types, JPEGs, PDFs, Office docs, ZIP files, PNGs. Having those hex values handy is invaluable.
Good tip. What else?
Second, and this is non-negotiable, always work on a forensic image or a clone of the original media. Never analyze the suspect drive directly.
Protect the original evidence, chain of custody.
Absolutely critical. Third, validate what you recover. If carving pulls out a file, check its integrity. Calculate its hash value. Does it open correctly? This is vital if it might become evidence.
Makes sense. Verify your findings.
Fourth, don't just stick to the nice graphical tools. Get comfortable with command line tools too. Foremost, scalpel, maybe bulk extractor. And they can be faster, more scriptable, sometimes more powerful.
Okay, expand the toolkit.
Fifth, documentation. Document everything. What drive image did you carve? Which tool did you use? What were the exact settings or commands? Where did you save the output? Your process needs to be repeatable and defensible. Write it all down.
Build that bulletproof report.
Exactly. And finally, practice. You can't just read about this stuff. Get some public forensic image data sets. NIST has the CFR NES project. Digital Corporate has loads.
Safe environments to test your skills.
Right. Download those images and start carving. See what you can find, test different tools, learn their quirks.
Excellent advice. Anything else?
Maybe just that taking the time to actually learn to read basic hexadecimal, it really does help.
Understand what the tools are actually seeing.
Yeah, it gives you a much deeper understanding of what's going on under the hood, instead of just clicking buttons. Helps you troubleshoot when things go wrong, too.
And maybe spot things the tools miss.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And, one more advanced thought for people really getting into it. Look into entropy analysis.
Entropy analysis, what's that?
It's a technique that measures the randomness of data in blocks. Highly random data often indicates compression or encryption. Standard carving, looking for simple headers, might miss that. But high entropy can be a flag saying, hey, there might be something interesting hidden here.
Wow, okay, so that's like another layer of detection.
It's definitely getting more advanced, but yeah, another tool in the digital forensic toolbox.
The learning really never stops in this field, does it?
Definitely keeps you on your toes.
Well, that feels like a pretty comprehensive first deep dive. We've gone from understanding file systems like NTFS and the MFT all the way to the nitty-gritty of carving files using magic numbers.
Yeah, it shows there's often much more hidden beneath the surface than you might initially think.
Mm-hmm.
Deleted doesn't always mean gone.
Absolutely. And as you said, this is really just scratching the surface.
So much more to explore.
Which brings us to our next deep dive on F for forensics. What do we got lined up?
Next time we're going even deeper.
Yeah.
Literally, we're tackling F is for firmware forensics beyond the OS.
Ooh, firmware, like inside the chips themselves.
Exactly. Ever wonder what secrets might be hiding in the controller chip of an SSD?
Mm-hmm.
Or inside those, seemingly simple Internet of Things devices scattered around our homes and offices?
That sounds fascinating, getting data from places most people don't even think about. I'm looking forward to that one already.
Me too. It's a really interesting and evolving area.
So, If you enjoyed today's exploration of file carving, please make sure you subscribe to F for Forensics so you don't miss that firmware deep dive or any future ones.
Yeah, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And hey, leave us a review if you can. It genuinely helps other people find the show.
And please do share this deep dive with any colleagues, friends, anyone you think might find this stuff interesting.
You can also find us on social media. We're at F for Forensics. Drop us a line. Let us know what you think or what topics you'd like us to cover.
Definitely. Well, until our next investigation, stay curious, stay cautious.
I'll keep on carving. Or, zeeping, I guess.
Later, nerds.